Hey everyone, it's Jess, and here on this channel we dive into performance analysis and music education. Today's video is Patron Pick of the Month, and for this month they have chosen PlayingForChange performing a cover of Robert Johnson's Crossroads. Let's go.
I went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. I went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. Ask a good Lord above, have mercy. Say, poor Bob, if you please.
Listen, standing at the crossroads, trying to flag a ride. Yeah, well, I'm standing at the crossroads, trying to flag a ride. Didn't nobody seem to know me. Everybody passed me by. I was standing at the crossroads, rising sun going down. I was standing at the crossroads, rising sun going down. I believe to my soul, I'm sinking down.
I said the sun is going down. Can't let darkness catch me here. I said the sun is going down. Can't let the darkness catch me here. I ain't got no sweet loving woman to love and feel my care. Went down to the crossroads. I look east and I look west.
Yes.
Went down to the crossroads. I look east and I look west. Well, you know I had nobody, all in my distress. Well, you can run. Tell my friend boy Willie Brown. Yeah, you can run. Tell my friend boy Willie Brown. I got these crossroads. Lord, I'm sinking down.
Is there more? Man, that's one of those songs you just don't want to end. There are so many musical components to this piece, and my first instinct is to try and find the names of the instruments. I'm gonna go off, do some research, and see what I can find, because I think the selection of instrumentation is really what makes this great. And instrumentation also includes the voice. All right, everyone, I did about 2-ish hours worth of research, and it's much later in the day, nighttime. And normally I would memorize my notes so that I can make as much eye contact with the camera as possible. But this time I have about 4 pages worth of research, and so I will be referencing my notes often. That being said, we'll do a deep dive into some of the artists featured in this video, along with the instruments they are playing, and a history lesson on some of the instruments that you see in the video. And we'll also talk about vocal technique and possibly even learn some harmonies along the way. With that being said, let's get right into it. The song begins with an artist named Vasti Jackson, and he is playing the electric guitar. Here's his bio. Vasti Jackson is a multi-Grammy nominated, world-renowned guitarist and vocalist, 2020 Pinnacle Award winner, 2019 Polar International Award recipient, Playing for Change, 2019 Grammy nominee for producer, 2017 Arts Ambassador, 2016 Grammy nominee, 2015 Albert King Lifetime Guitar Award, 2014 Cultural Ambassador, 2012 Mississippi Musicians Hall of Fame, and 2011 Mississippi Living Blues Legend Award winner. So let's look at the electric guitar and learn about its history. Before the electric guitar was the acoustic guitar, and in the late 19th, early 20th century, musicians added what's called a pickup to the acoustic guitars to create this electric sound. The pickup is a small device made of various materials, including magnets, wires, and screws. And what essentially happens is that it creates a magnetic field with electrical currents that produces the electric sound. Eventually, musicians moved away from the acoustic guitar with the pickup because the hollow body of the acoustic guitar did not optimize resonance. And what replaced that was a solid body guitar, a guitar made with a single piece of wood. The tone of various guitars will be influenced by a variety of factors, including the shape of the body, the pickup configurations, the type of wood used, and even the quality of the strings. Vasti's guitar looks interesting, and I'm curious to know what the materials are that make up the body and even the outer paint or shine of the guitar. As you can see and possibly hear, Vasti's guitar looks and sounds different than the electric guitars we'll see later on in the video. And that is because looking at the body, you can see 2 very large cutouts on the upper left and right side of the front part of the body. And that also lets us know that the body of the guitar is hollow. It has that acoustic guitar body. As a result, you hear a more amplified acoustic sound.
I went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. I went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees.
Next up is Keith Johnson, who is playing the harmonica. A little bit about Mr. Johnson. Keith Johnson is an accomplished blues guitarist, harmonica player, and songwriter. Keith graduated from Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Audio Engineering and a Master of Business Administration in Human Resource Management. Interesting. He is the great nephew of blues icon Muddy Waters and the grandson of late Tex Seller Fields, a gospel singer and radio host. Now, a little history on the harmonica. Like many instruments, the harmonica is an instrument that has evolved over time, and it is believed that the first form of harmonica came from China in 3000 BC, and it was called the sheng. The harmonica was introduced to the US around the 19th century and became extremely popular because of its low cost and ease of learning. It's a free reed instrument, meaning the air that is blown into the instrument through various holes passes through and makes contact with the reed inside. When Keith begins his part, you can see his head and his mouth moving rapidly across the outer parts of the harmonica. To me, this creates an oscillating sound and reminds me of like a wide vibrato.
Listen.
It's a classic nostalgic sound, and to me what's interesting about the harmonica is its capability to sound smooth and peaceful, but also dramatic and intense. Next up is Kirby, who is an American singer-songwriter and has written songs for Rihanna, Kanye West, and Paul McCartney, amongst more. She is from Mississippi and is an alum of Berklee College of Music. Her voice is fantastic and sounds really great just after the harmonica. She's got this combination of nasality and rasp for most of the time, but then at some times she brings this subtle warmth, which is really nice and brings some roundness to the tone. I especially heard this warmth specifically on the phrase, "Everybody pass me by."
Standing at the crossroads, trying to flag a ride. Yeah. Well, I'm standing at the crossroads, trying to flag a ride. Didn't nobody seem to know me. Everybody passed me by.
The second thing I want to point out is I love her phrasing, and particularly I want to point out the phrasing on the line, "Didn't nobody seem to know me," specifically that N consonant that keeps coming back in this phrase. So the very first word, didn't, has an N on the second syllable. The following word, nobody, starts with the first syllable on an N. What she does is she holds this N and sings through it because N is a singable consonant. She holds this first N on the word didn't and uses that N and sings through it to use for the first syllable on the word nobody. And it just brings this sustained, prolonged feeling and emphasizes those two words together.
Well, I'm standing at the crossroads, trying to flag a ride. Didn't nobody seem to know me. Everybody passed me by.
The next time we get the consonant end is for the word no, and that's one syllable. She doesn't hold or sing through the N like she did before. She really gets to that O vowel, and I thought this was such a nice touch.
Well, I'm standing at the crossroads, trying to flag a ride. Didn't nobody seem to know me. Everybody passed me by.
For me, what's important with phrasing is how and what words you choose to emphasize. It brings so much shape and beauty to the phrase and also makes the phrase emotionally dynamic. I thought she did a fantastic job with her phrasing, and I believed the words that she was saying. Next up is Sierra Hole and Charlie Worsham. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. A little bit about them. Sierra Hole is a 2-time Grammy-nominated artist and songwriter and is the 6-time recipient of IBMA's Mandolin Player of the Year. Incredible. And Worsham is a well-known singer-songwriter and musician in Nashville. and has collaborated with many artists like Luke Combs and Elle King. Sierra is playing the mandolin and Charlie is playing the banjo. For this video, I'll talk about the mandolin because I have a blog that talks extensively about the origins of the banjo, and I'll leave that below. From what I see, Sierra is playing the flat-backed mandolin, which is popular in Irish, British, and Brazilian folk music. Another common body type is called the tear-shaped mandolin, which has a lot more volume on the bottom half of the mandolin and brings about a different type of sound. Now, I believe Sierra is holding a pick because of the shape of her pointer finger, but I'm not too sure. It's kind of hard to tell. Now, let's talk about their harmonies because they are so good. I want to look specifically at this line. It reads, "I was standing at the crossroads, rising, sun going down." Oh my goodness. So what I'm going to do here for us all is let's pick apart Sierra's line, and then let's also learn Charlie's line, and then you could choose which line you want to learn, or maybe both, and put them to use later. The harmony I want to analyze is on the line, "I was standing at the crossroads." Now, interestingly, both Sierra and Charlie, from what I could hear, dropped out on the word "the." It almost sounded like they just spoke it. It was really, really tough to hear. And so I just put for that word, "speak." Let's look at Sierra's line first. Her line is B4, C5, C sharp 5, C sharp 5, back down to B4, spoken "the," down to G4, and then resolves to F sharp 4. Next up is Charlie's line, and his line does live in the mezzo-alto territory. His line goes G, A, back down to G, down to D, D again, and then down to A.
Rising sun going down. I was sitting at the crossroads. Rising sun going down. Rising sun going down. I was sitting at the crossroads. Rising sun going down.
Woo! Their two voices together are just fantastic. Next up is Bombino playing the electric guitar, and oh my goodness, this is one of my favorite moments of the video. What I loved particularly about his playing was his mix and use of chords and melody, but also key was the pauses in between his phrases. The pauses were so interesting because it created this tension within his own part because it's driving this anticipation. You're waiting for something else to possibly come along within his part. But during his pauses, your ear also has a moment to relax, should it choose to, and then focus on all of the other instruments that are playing while his instrument is paused. Thought his playing along with that steady bass that's playing on the subdivision, plus the harmonica. Ooh, that is just such a good trio. All right, we've got Cedric Burnside next, who is an American electric blues guitarist, drummer, singer, and songwriter. Burnside is a recipient, hear this, of a National Heritage Fellowship, the country's highest honor in the folk and traditional arts, and was recently recognized with the 2024 Mississippi Governor's Art Award for Excellence in Music. What an accomplishment. First thing I want to point out is I personally love when instruments drop out when someone or something else is going to be introduced. And that happened here with Cedric's intro.
I said the sun is going down. Can't let darkness catch me here.
Cedric's voice with that bass is so nice. It's just such a heavenly pair. That's the best way that I can put it. And that bass has been steady on the subdivisions, which is really nice because it provides this electrical pulse, which is really different from the pulse that you're getting from the percussions, the drums.
I said the sun is going down. Can't let darkness catch me here. I said the sun is going down. Can't let the darkness catch me here.
My gosh, you can hear so much emotion come through despite how short the phrases are. And I loved that he gave us rasp right when the phrase started, and it was on a pretty high note. Remember, male voice, a lot of these male voices are singing particularly high, which it's a phenomenon in and of itself. His first words are, I said the sun is going down. Now, I'm not sure if these are the exact lyrics from the original or if they're improv or just added words. However, what I want to point out is the beginning of this phrase, I said. Oh, I thought that was such a nice touch because it adds this collaborative aspect that can be really hard to convey in a video like this, where you have a ton of moving parts in a bunch of different areas. And him saying, I said, to me connects with what was said before him. When Sierra and Charlie were singing, one of their lines was, I was standing at the crossroads, rising sun going down. Then he comes in later and says, I said the sun is going down.
I was standing at the crossroads, rising sun going down.
I said the sun is going down. Can't let darkness catch me here. I said the sun is going down. Can't let the darkness catch me here.
I just thought the connection between those two, even though there were artists in between them, it was just a nice touch considering how much is going on in the video. And last thing to point out about him is I love his vibrato. I really heard it come through the first time on the word here.
I said the sun is going down. Can't let darkness catch me here.
It was so nice. I would love to hear a song with just his voice and really hear more of his vibrato. The next part is interesting, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name. The name of the artist is Reis Hassan Amegrot, and the description says that he is playing the violin, but that is not the traditional classical violin that you and I know. If anyone knows the name of this instrument, please let us know in the comment section below. But what was interesting about this part was the sound. Maybe I was hearing things, but the sound had a woodwind quality to it.
Can't let the darkness catch me here.
so unique, and I want to learn more about what it is. We have another instrumentalist whose name is Cara de Cobra, who is playing the Surdo drum. I've never heard this name, but the Surdo drum is a large bass drum commonly played in Brazilian music, and particularly in samba and other Afro-Brazilian styles. Now, what I've noticed immediately was that if you're carrying this, instead of having it sit on the floor, I can only imagine balancing that large of an instrument while playing it can be extremely difficult. I have to commend any instrumentalists who have to carry or hold large instruments while playing at the same time. I can't even imagine how difficult that is, especially if you have a very long part. Oh my goodness. The last artist we'll look at is Christone Kingfish Ingram, who is on vocals and guitar. This was another favorite part of mine. I loved the breathiness of Christone's voice, and I particularly heard it come out on the word west, on that F vowel. Now, he had a lot of time to develop and sit on that vowel.
Went down to the crossroads. I look east and I look west.
That breathy tone came out and it sounded so nice. Then he also has a rasp. It's really subtle, but I think it adds this nice funk to the overall tone of his voice.
Well, you know I had nobody, all in my distress.
And essentially what's happening is the vocal folds, in camera view, the vocal folds are close together, and a good amount of air and pressure needs to build up to pass through those vocal folds while trying to remain in contact. And when that is happening, you get this vocal fry, this rasp sound, that E. It's a great exercise to use as well. But that forceful passing of the breath through the closed vocal folds is what's producing the sound. And I just love that it's subtle and it sounds so effortless. Now, I wasn't able to get through all of the artists and all of the instruments, but I will leave a link to their bios in the description below so you can learn more about them. If you liked all that you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and comment down below what piece by your favorite artist you would like me to do a performance analysis on. Lastly, make sure to check out the description box for ways you can keep in touch with me, get access to exclusive perks, and check out the Soprano Notes blog. I hope you have a good day and I'll see you soon. Bye!